Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this unseen video. I hope everyone is well and a big thank you for all the support for this video series. It's been absolutely amazing. One of the things I've noticed is we're being tagged in things that have appeared in previous unseen videos. If you've missed some of those, I would urge that you go back and check them out. I've been getting tagged a lot in the Carlito not being eliminated from the Royal Rumble video, which did the rounds. But I do love that because it means that you lot are out there looking for the best stuff to put in this series. But also, it suggests that we're a little bit ahead of the curve. So we were able to talk about something just before we got tagged like quite a bit today in like people discovering it. So it kind of suggests that we're just that little bit ahead of the curve. It also suggests the content we're doing is interesting to people because they are sending it through 24 hours after we've already spoke about it. So yeah, keep supporting the video series. It is really appreciated. So with that being said, let's get to today's episode. We're going to start with the meme that you can see on screen. So this right here is obviously based on Will Smith and the Oscars. We've seen something like this before. This, I've got to say, is probably my favorite example of it. I really do like the meme that we've got here. Right, let's go up to our next one. So this is, we're going to need a whoosh whoosh for this. This is Joshua Gresham. Michelle, thank you for this. So this is pretty fun. So The Rock is the High Chief. Roman is the Tribal Chief. Jay is the Real Chief. Solo is the Tribal Heir. Jimmy, he's just happy to be there. There is nothing for Jimmy. There is nothing for Jimmy. And that's true, isn't it? Jimmy hasn't been given any sort of name, any sort of recognition. He is very much the runt of the litter. Be very interesting to see how that develops as time goes by. Next up, we got this from Drew. So Drew is saying there's always a plan B. Always a plan B. Obviously, I think this is a troll. I think this is a tease. I don't think there is a plan B. I don't think he is working with Triple H, but we know that his social media game is very, very good. And of course, this is the line that Triple H said when the Shield kind of imploded. Triple H said there's always a plan B, and then that's when Seth had the chair, used the chair, and that was the end of the Shield. So I like this tweet. I think it's thought-provoking. I don't think there's anything more to it than that, but as always, watch this space. Then we got this. I mean, I love these graphics. You might remember that we saw the Bailey one the other day. Well, Norberto has come out with a new one. Edward, thank you. Norberto doing it based on what's happened with The Rock and Cody and the slap and the press event. These are really, really cool. And they seem to be really well received on social media as well. So I'd expect to see more of these from Norberto. This was nice. So a little clip of the press conference, and actually Paul Orndorff, his son, said, "It's been a long time since I heard my dad mentioned in the WWE. It's a new day, a new regime. Thank you, Triple H. This warmed my heart and it made my day." That's nice, isn't it? Eric, shout out to you. I agree. This is awesome. Do you know what else is awesome? Triple H going on to Santa's nice list. So again, we've seen this account. Alex, thank you. We've seen this account. Santa decides. He basically gets the most talked about personalities, looks into whether they should go on the nice or the naughty list. We did Cody just the other day. Well, Triple H was trending following Smackdown, and Santa has decided he is on the nice list. This was a quote from The Undertaker. So The Undertaker was talking about SmackDown and the current situation. He said that his heart sank. My freaking heart sunk into my stomach. That was his reaction when Cody didn't pick Roman on last week's SmackDown. So obviously, I don't think the podcast is like live or totally up to speed. he's still talking about last week. Obviously, we've had a big development, a big swerve since then. But he was just talking about how doing The Rock and Roman makes a lot of sense. Samoan against Samoan, the popularity of The Rock. He says he totally understands why they've gone in that direction. But my freaking heart sunk into my stomach. So it's amazing to think of The Undertaker sat at home watching the show, reacting like the rest of us. It's just a bizarre mental image. Next up, we've got this. This probably should have gone into the Vince folder, to be honest. But we can have a look at this. Obviously, it's very important stuff. It is Bruce Prichard just making some comments based on the allegations and everything. So here, the executive director, Bruce Prichard, on the allegations and the lawsuits against Vince, WWE, and John Laurinaitis. First of all, as far as lawsuits and things of that nature, I'm not at liberty to discuss any legal matters with the company whatsoever. So to that, there's nothing that I can say and or do. So there can't be a response from a legal standpoint. And you can ask till you're blue in the face, and that's just going to be your answer. I'm not involved. I'm not being sued. I'm not accused of anything. It's a legal matter. And as I said to you, brackets comrade, that's who he was talking to. This is Bruce on his podcast. Sometimes it's as simple as, for those who believe, an explanation is needed. For those that don't, no explanation will do. And that's kind of where we are. And let the rest of it sit in the hands of the fine legal system that we have here in the United States of America. No one's telling me not to do anything on the podcast, other than the simple fact that I work for a company that is involved in a lawsuit right now. I can't comment. Folks, if you work in a large company and your large company is being sued, then there's very little that you can say about it. And if you do, that's a good way for you to lose your job. Brackets, something to wrestle. So there's Bruce Prichard. Obviously, Rhonda made her comments. Rhonda's comments were that this is Vince's right-hand man, and it really is, in the sense of like, he has always been there for Vince to help write shows, help produce shows. Normally, if Vince is in Gorilla, Bruce will be sat right next to him. And, you know, Rhonda said, whilst Bruce is in WWE, Vince will always have an influence. He hadn't heard from Bruce. There'd been no comments from Bruce. So I wanted to include this because for me, as someone that sort of knows a little bit more about kind of the structure backstage, nothing more than anyone else, but I think if you've been watching wrestling for a long time, you'll know about Kevin Dunn. You'll know about Bruce Prichard, right? You'll know about how that has worked in the past. This was someone I was waiting to hear from. Didn't expect anything more than what we got, to be honest. But I thought it was worth including because he is a very important man in WWE and a very close friend, or at least was. I don't know his current stance, but was a close friend with Vince. Right, let's move on, shall we? Here's The Rock. So The Rock says, he breaks his silence and he says, enjoy the ride, my friends. Enjoy the ride. So this was The Rock on Instagram, right? So The Rock is very excited about the direction that we're heading in. Right, now we've got this from Seth. He shares his thoughts on CM Punk's injury. So one of us is a fragile old man, and one of us is a young stallion. I'll be back in a couple of weeks, which I thought was real interesting. Couple of weeks. Remember that. He'll be back in a year or two until his next injury. I don't know. I'd love to kick the peep out of him. I'm sure he'd love to get there and try to do something to me. It's not going to work. Am I disappointed? I'd say a little bit. Only because I thought if we had an opportunity to do it, stomping his head into the mat would be the best at WrestleMania. It would be the best at WrestleMania in front of the biggest audience. A little bummed by that. I feel like he's talking about the greatest comeback of all time. I'll be happy to stomp out that comeback when the time comes. So that was Seth talking to Denise. And yeah, I mean, no surprises about his comments there, to be honest. But the bit I took away is the fact that Seth's saying he will be back in a couple of weeks. Don't forget, he originally was making out that this was going to be months and months and months. And now we're at the point where it's a couple of weeks. And if you saw yesterday's Unseen, you'll know that there is talk of the Elimination Chamber winner facing Seth immediately after the Chamber match. And I've had people going, there's no way, Seth's not going to be ready, he's not going to be cleared. Yet here is Seth right now saying he's just a few weeks away from being back. So in Seth's own words, he's a few weeks away from being back. And if we did the Chamber winner facing Seth straight after they had won the Chamber, that then leaves Seth free for something else at WrestleMania. I can't shake the Seth versus The Rock point that was raised earlier in the opinion video that dropped on the channel. Again, if you've not seen that, go back, check that out. But there was the comment made, the idea floated about how about Seth versus The Rock. And honestly, when you think about it, if they are going to do the Chamber winner against Seth at Elimination Chamber, meaning Seth is then free for WrestleMania, well, we just saw them on a stage kind of throwing verbal insults at each other. Seth was up there to the point where people are thinking it's going to be a tag match. There's loads of people saying, are they doing Cody and Seth against Roman and Rock on night 1 and then doing Cody Roman on night 2? Well, honestly, the more I thought about it, why would you have Cody and Roman work twice when you don't have to? You don't have to do that. They can just work night 2. That then just leaves Rock versus Seth. So actually, I feel like a lot of people have already got the idea of Seth and Rock being in a match. It's just in a lot of people's minds, it's going to be a tag match and that Roman and Cody are going to have to work twice. What if they don't? What if it's just Rock versus Seth night 1? That's your main event. Don't forget, it was going to be CM Punk versus Seth. So CM Punk is out. We need a replacement. It looked like that replacement was going to be Cody. What if they've just switched them round? What if that's the plan? What if it's just as simple as that? Rather than Rock Roman and Cody Seth, what if they've just switched them? And it's now Roman versus Cody and Seth versus The Rock. Seth, I think a lot of people would agree, deserves to main event WrestleMania. And The Rock apparently is training. So it feels like he's having a match at WrestleMania. If he's having a match, it's the main event. If Roman and Cody is the main event of night 1, Rock's got to be the main event of night 2. It just all fits. It just all fits. So to me, it's going to take quite a bit to dissuade me that this is the direction we're going. I really am looking at Seth Rock main event in night 1 and Cody Roman main event in night 2. Right, let's move on, shall we? Next up, we've got this. What do you think Triple H and the Rock taking shots at each other is leading to? So let's do another whoosh whoosh. So here we've got Wrestle Talk. This is coming from Dave Meltzer, right? And I thought this was interesting. What do you think Triple H and The Rock taking shots at each other is leading to? Well, Paul Levesque and Dwayne had their thing that they taped on YouTube, playing the little game of they want to wrestle each other at WrestleMania now. I think he's talking about the after the press event, that little backstage thing, which as best I was told, that's not going to happen, right? I can't even imagine Levesque. He's got a pacemaker. He's basically said there's absolutely no way. So this coming from Dave Meltzer, who's really putting cold water on the idea of Triple H versus The Rock, which, as we said, I don't think people were thinking, because obviously anything that gets teased, people are going to be thinking about. But Dave Meltzer kind of pouring cold water on that. Right, so with that being said, we can afford to now go into the wrestling folder. Let's go into the wrestling folder and get rid of this. You can see some of the trends that were on screen there. Meltzer, Collision, Saturday night at the time of recording this. Adam Copeland, obviously, and Maurice, and we will get to that. So here is the first post in our wrestling folder. So AJ Styles is reportedly no longer associated with the OC. So that could be a very interesting development. And as you're going to see in a bit, there is some movement regarding Michin as well. So we're going to talk about that. So Tribal Chief 3009, shout out to you, my friends. I know it is Tribal Chief's birthday as well. So happy birthday, buds. I hope you have a fantastic day, have a fantastic weekend, and thank you for sending over and tagging me in so many posts that get included in these unseen videos. It is appreciated. Next up, look, from Michelle, Brock Lesnar has been removed from the WWE intro and replaced by LA Knight. I think we might actually have a graphic that really shows that better later. So that news coming through today, I would say this was one of the big talking points today. Brock out of the WWE intro. I mean, that is not a good sign for his future, is it? That does not suggest that the future is bright for Brock Lesnar if you're being removed from the official intro. And this is the other big news as well. So Ankit says, LMAO, is this real? Did WWE leak the participants for their women's Elimination Chamber match? I ain't sure, but this lineup is stacked if it's for real. So I would say if you don't want spoilers, you need to not look at this image, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen a lot of people now talking about this. My first thought was, no. I mean, for starters, Bianca. I can't see Bianca in this image, right? So I was like, no, this isn't real. I don't even know who that is. Next to what looks to be Tiffany Stratton over on the right-hand side. It looked like Liv to me. I thought that was Tiffany and Liv. But actually, I've seen an image which shows that that isn't Tiffany and Liv. It's actually Tiffany, and that is Bianca. It's just really weird how the lighting in the background works. It sort of doesn't make it look like Bianca. But if you compare it to the current poster that Bianca is on, you can see straight away it is, right? And apparently a lot of people have been talking about this today. This went up and briefly was taken back down again. So people aren't sure if it is a spoiler or if it was just a graphic that was doing the rounds, or we don't quite know. But I think there is a real good chance this could be what we end up with. So let's have a look as to who is rumored to be in this. So that's Liv on the far left. Obviously next to Liv is Naomi. In the middle panel, that looks like Jade Cargill. Right now, I don't know if a qualifying match for her has been announced. I mean, I'm not aware of one, but she was in the Royal Rumble. And to be honest, this multi-person match, which is not really like a one-on-one encounter type thing, this multi-person match, you could put her in there. She could go into one of those pods and be the last person that comes out, limiting the amount of time she actually has to wrestle. So her being in this match and the WWE Universe seeing her again, it does make sense. Next to her is Becky, who many people expect to win the Chamber. Then it is Bianca. And I know if you are looking at that going, I just don't see it. I understand. I promise you. I've seen the graphic that compares it with the current graphic, and it is Bianca. And then next to her is Tiffany Stratton. So that would be the Elimination Chamber. It would be a great lineup. That would be an amazing Elimination Chamber. And then obviously this has got people thinking, if that is where we're going, are we doing Jade versus Bianca? I don't know if it's not too soon for that. I think there'd be an argument that maybe Jade and Bianca would have to get onto the same page. So Jade and Bianca, both of which are rumored to be on SmackDown, right? They could be on SmackDown. Bianca is, and Jade is rumored to be. So they could be on SmackDown. They could work as a tag team to take on the Kabuki Warriors. This was a prediction we made on the channel a while ago. I just worry that it might be too soon to do a big singles match at WrestleMania for Jade Cargill, going up against Bianca. It's the match that people want, but you could delay it until SummerSlam when Jade is maybe a little bit more developed with her wrestling, you know? So, I don't know. This, I thought, was very interesting. It's clearly one of the biggest talking points in this video. And so you're going to have to make your mind up if this is where we're going or not, right? But yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of people are talking about it. It's not just Ankit. It was kind of all over the big accounts. Looks like WWE really did botch, really did mess up on this one. Right, next up, we've got Trent. Shout out to you, but Sami Zayn is 0-11 in his last 11. What is going on? Well, I've seen people saying, look, they're booking him as the underdog. He's on a losing streak. He's, you know, the message is being sent that WWE are not keeping him down, but not giving him a string of wins. But he will get a win. And, you know, he'll be excited about that. And then that will hopefully lead to another win. And we'll start to get on a roll. I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't look at this like he's being buried. I look at it as he is just falling short. But there is going to come a moment where he doesn't. I mean, whether we start giving him wins before Mania, I'm not sure. It really could be that he's down on his luck, is down on his chances. He feels like there's, you know, it's done. His career is over. His last shot could be Money in the Bank. And imagine if Money in the Bank is where Sami gets the briefcase. That would be incredible. That would be incredible. But I feel like in order to set that up, you've got to start telling a story of him being down on his luck. And him being not in as good a place as he was this time last year. So, as a Sami stan, I'm not worried about it. But something to keep an eye on. Next up, we've got this video package right here. So, this is Real Kyle. Shout out to you. Real Kyle said, do you think that Okada is going to debut? It does say in here, and Fightful are pointing it out, Moneymakers. So it's implying that there's more than one money maker coming to big business. And obviously the Boston thing, which everyone points out now. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought it was very interesting. We don't have an answer to that. We don't know where Okada is going, but the fact they're saying money makers does kind of suggest there's more than one. They could be, of course, talking about their roster anyway, right? There's plenty of money makers on their roster. But, yeah, it is a very interesting little talking point. That coming from the official trailer video for Big Business. Right, Zero News teasing the Bianca Jade confrontation. The only thing I would say is that I think if you saw that graphic, I think this was something that went through your mind. So whether Zero News has heard something, whether they can be trusted on this, whether this is speculation on their part, I don't know, because all they've done is tweeted a picture, right? Which for a wrestling news source is not very helpful. It would be good if there was like a bit more blurb that was like attached to this so that we could understand as to what's actually being said here. But yeah, if you saw that graphic earlier, I think it was one of the first thoughts that went into your mind. Could these two be on a collision course? Then there's this. This is footage from the dark. Well, I don't think it was a dark match. From what I can understand, this was just a little confrontation. I don't know that this was a match. It may have been a dark match following Smackdown. It may have been. Or it equally could have been that R-Truth came out, Gunther confronted him, and then we just got this little moment right here. So this is R-Truth just going at Gunther after Smackdown, and the crowd's loving it. Of course they are. Of course they are. So Ring Insights, shout out to you. Right, here is Johnny Gargano. So Johnny said, with the Super Bowl this weekend, we figured we would commemorate our tag match with the ultimate sign of post-match respect and sportsmanship, a jersey exchange. Kind of. So Tyler Bate is well up for swapping with Johnny. Pete Dunne and Tommaso Ciampa are not really into the idea. This is really good. So they do finally do it, but in a sec you see Pete Dunne whip it and throw it behind his shoulder. Is not interested at all. So a little jersey exchange. It was a really great match. Yeah, he's not having it. And I don't know what Tyler Bate's doing there. I don't know what Tyler Bate's doing, but there we go. We've got a little jersey exchange after this week's SmackDown. Right, this was interesting. This is Chelsea Green saying it feels like, not that it is, but it feels like it's only a matter of time before Matt Cardona returns to WWE. Of course, these two are in a relationship, of course. So, you know, could Chelsea and Chelsea's success open the door for Matt Cardona to return? Because they may want to bring him back and then have this two as like some sort of power couple. Could you imagine Becky and Seth against Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green? You know, you could do Jimmy and Naomi. There's actually a lot of couples. Montez and Bianca. There's a lot of couples in WWE. You know, would there be value in bringing Matt Cardona back? I know he's got a very passionate fan base. You know, I don't know. I'm not personally, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I love Chelsea Green. I was never a big fan of Zack Ryder, but I know Zack Ryder is dead, even though I think he has been doing Long Island IC videos again. But Matt Cardona is a very different beast, isn't he? King of the Indies. He's had a lot of success on the Indies. I'm sure Matt would come back to WWE. I'm not doubting that. It's just, would WWE bring him back? So a very interesting little talking point, something to have a little think about. This was random, man. So here we've got comments on a post, right? Comments on a post. A Zelina Vega post. She just put a picture up of herself looking lovely. You've got King Kota here on the left with love hearts in her eyes. Loving what she's seeing. And then on the right, Rhea Ripley from her official account says, F you, ho. Where's that come from? There are many comments on Zelina Vega's post, and then you just get to Rhea Ripley's. So it's from her official account, F you, ho. What is going on there? What is that about? So I don't know if we're teasing something here, some sort of drama between these two, but I was not expecting that kind of language from Rhea Ripley on social media. Certainly to very innocent post, which I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not over it. So, this is Kit Wilson of Pretty Deadly. He says, Simba has Mufasa. Pretty Deadly have our queen, our guiding light to keep us on the straight and narrow heading into WrestleMania season. It is bonkers. We spoke about this yesterday. I did a reaction video to it because I'm still not over it. It is bonkers. I don't know if they're going to talk to the Cloud Queen to get advice when times are hard. Was this a one-off? Or is the Queen, Cloud Queen, now part of the roster? Like, are they going to seek advice from her going forward? I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure you don't know what's going on. I don't even know that Pretty Deadly know what's going on. But something's going on. And this is just one of the most bonkers images WWE have ever given us. No doubt about that. Right, next we got Big Bronson Reed, who is thankfully keeping it a little more PG, right? So, don't know what the first word is because the second letter is starred out. So, I'll just say F the gatekeepers, F the naysayers, F the way it is. The future is now, is here, and is big. Ozzilla. Ah, he's amazing, isn't he? What an entrance that is. Absolutely fantastic. Right, next, Fightful. I think they took this from a backstage clip that Michin had following SmackDown. It might have been on Smack Talk, right? I'm sick of being the sacrificial lamb. I'm tired of being a stepping stone. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. On my soul, I'm reclaiming my time. So we spoke earlier about how Michin yesterday actually was like taking off a mask and was about to show her real self. And now we've found out that AJ is apparently no longer part of the OC. I mean, I think Michin could be breaking away as well. Part of this was her saying that she's got no one. She's got no one. Even though Gallows and Anderson walk her out to the ring. Like, she's got no one. We're seeing a change with Michin. There is definitely something happening here. And I don't know what it means for the rest of the OC. I mean, the OC will just be Gallows and Anderson if she leaves. Following what we read earlier about AJ already being out of the OC. So, yeah, lots going on with that group. Right, this was interesting. Damian Priest said he can't cash in his Money in the Bank while Seth Rollins is not medically cleared, which I thought was very interesting. A lot of people have been asking, where is Damian Priest? Well, he's saying that Seth can't have a match if he's not medically cleared. It does make me question all those times people have cashed in on people that have just had a match and are clearly not in a fit condition to have another one. I doubt they were medically cleared either. But then I suppose you can make the argument that they were never officially not medically cleared. So you could make that argument. But this is why we're not seeing Damian Priest cashing in at the moment. Because while Seth is injured, Seth cannot have a match. So I thought that was very interesting. So Fightful giving us that information. New graphic here for Rhea and Nia Jax. So a new, this is part of the official graphics. That's a sick look for Rhea, isn't it? Really sick look. There's a few people speculating that this might be our main event in Elimination Chamber. At the moment, we don't know that The Rock is wrestling. It's probably unlikely that he's going to wrestle, to be honest. It's probably unlikely. So this looks like it's going to be our main event. So, yeah, what great looking poster. And then the last bit that we've got up here is just from Dijak, who's just the best. So, what do you call your fans? And I'll leave it there. It's a bad B word. That's all you need to know, right? Dijak is the best. He is the best when it comes to following on social media. Right, couple of little bits to do with a few bits actually. I think some of these have gone. Are they in the wrong folders? I don't know. We'll walk through them. So, right, Aaron, shout out to you, said it's really the end. So, Wrestle Talk pointing out that WWE's official website has now seemingly completely erased Vince's profile. Before Vince's profile was there, it just said that we weren't authorized to view it. Now, it's completely gone. So it looks like they've just completely deleted Vince's profile from the WWE website, which is just, it's insane, isn't it? It's unfathomable. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, who thought we would be in this situation? Right, this is the picture that we were talking about. Alex, shout out to you. So you can see Brock at the top here. WWE removing Brock. So this image of Brock has now been replaced by LA Knight. So we spoke about it earlier, but this thankfully is out there where you can actually compare the two. So WrestleOps, big shout out to them. And Alex, shout out to you as well. Brock Lesnar being replaced. Then we've got this. This is heartbreaking. This really is difficult and heartbreaking. So Jason Solomonster, said this is still on WWE's website from 2006. And it's about Ashley Massaro's and others heading to Kuwait. So anything can happen over in the Middle East, said Ashley. But my company takes care of me and I trust them. I have full faith that I will come back exactly the way I left, if not a little bit better in the heart. Awful, innit? That's the trip that she alleges that she was raped on. So both divas understand that a country within such close proximity to Iraq will contain hazards around every corner. But in spite of the dangers, both women insist the pluses outweigh the minuses. And then that's where she gives that quote. I have full faith I will come back exactly the way I left, if not a little bit better in the heart. So Jay cries a shout out to you for tagging me in that. Right, I think there's only one more folder for us to go into. It's this others folder. Let's work our way through this, shall we? This was pretty funny from Watson. So Kizarangi TV said wrestling has got more than one royal family, and then created like a Cody Punk, which is really random, but I must admit it did make me laugh. It's one of those where I was looking at it going, that's not right. I can see that it's Punk, and I was like, oh, I see what they've done. It took me a moment to like piece it all together. So Watson, shout out to you. Mitchell, shout out to you. I don't know what this is. This is John Cena coming out to play baseball. I thought this was a movie. I thought this was a scene from a movie, but apparently this is a team that are trying to put fun back into baseball. They're called the Savannah Bananas, and John Cena comes out, like, has fun with the crowd, does awful with playing baseball. I mean, awful. Doesn't even try to play the game properly. Ends up getting struck out. And I don't know, this is everywhere. Everyone's sharing this. Everyone's sharing it. I mean, it's just random. It's so random. I think the problem I've got is I don't know anything about the Savannah Bananas. I don't know what this is. As I said, I watched this and thought it was a scene from a film. And actually, part of me wonders if it still is. Part of me wonders if it is still a scene from a film, because the way it's shot is so professional. There's like different camera angles and everything. But there we go. He's struck out. And I don't know what that dude's doing. But he's very red. Very, very red. So, yeah, there is John Cena with the Savannah Bananas. Tribal Chief 3009 just tagged me in this from WrestleMania, who said Orton at this stage doesn't seem to have 10 more years. The amount of pain he in looked like it was going to be much less than that. So you can see Randy grabbing a hold of his back, really grimacing in pain. There was a few people asking if Randy was okay following his match. Definitely seemed like he was struggling. And honestly, we've said before, we're just so lucky to have him back. So lucky to have him back. I'm not too surprised that he's struggling. So definitely don't take Randy for granted. We don't know how long we've got him for. This was some nice news from Shaquem. So Sergeant Slaughter sending the message out. Listen up, Chapel Hill. Thrilled to hear that Kenyon McMahon is a Tar heel and will be he's turned heel and will be wearing Carolina blue on the gridiron. Welcome to the southern part of heaven, Kenyon. It's a great day to be a Tar heel. Well, Sergeant Slaughter was an excellent heel. WrestleMania 7. Hark the sound, and remember, we all go home or no one goes home. So Sergeant Slaughter is very excited by this news. So there is Shane and his son, Kenyon McMahon. Every time I see this match graphic, I start crying. What were they thinking? There is Slapjack and Bobby Lashley. I've got to admit, man, it just, where we are now, I included this as just a reminder of where we were not that long ago compared to where we are now. It's just like night and day with this company. That is a match that we had at Hell in a Cell. Slapjack of Retribution versus Bobby Lashley. And now here we are with The Rock and all this kind of stuff. Amazing. Right, so this was put in there. There was a message, though, from Dijak. He said, they were thinking, ratio, don't ever besmirch my King Slapjack again. So even though Dijak hates being called T-Bar, he won't allow you to besmirch the good name of Slapjack. So don't forget that. Next up, look at this. TCS Forever, sir, yes, sir, says Bischoff ad target model with his now wife, apparently. So there's Bischoff modeling, right? Apparently. I've never seen this before. And I think they're claiming that this is his now wife as well. So that is him in a Target catalog. I have no idea if this is true. I'm literally, all I'm going off is what you're seeing. But it does look like Eric Bischoff. It does look like Eric Bischoff. And if that is his wife, well, he did very well. He did very, very well. I wonder if they've still got those shirts. Or those shorts. I wonder if that's like something that's still in his wardrobe. So, amazing. Mars said, Dijak Deadass is a cool person, but that ratio was super uncalled for. So the ratio we just saw, super uncalled for. And Dijak responded by saying, that's fair. You're entitled to your opinion. My bad. Let me make it up to you by gifting you this brand new ratio. Much love. And it is a big ratio as well. It's a big ratio. He did ratio him good. And then finally, we got Isla Dawn saying, hey, WWE Games, will Nick Aldis be in this year's game? I'm thinking casket match, buried alive match. She goes on to say she needs to get her revenge, and Nick Aldis looking very concerned. So I would say the big news today is Brock coming out of the intro, the potential leak of the Elimination Chamber lineup by WWE. Silly billies. And obviously a few other little bits and bobs that were in there as well. Yeah, really appreciate the support. We will try and get another unseen video out. Obviously depending on if there is some good stuff to actually talk about. But here we are again, another 40-odd minute unseen. There's just so much going on in the wrestling world. I can't see tomorrow being an issue, to be honest. I can't see tomorrow being a problem. Although we do have to remember it is the Super Bowl. So maybe everyone will be tuning into that, or maybe it'll be a Super Bowl special unseen as everyone reacts to the big game. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.